Hi, want to learn how to make a Sherpa trimmed coat? Stay tuned. What you'll need is a jacket you're willing to upcycle. I'm using this oversized plaid boyfriend coat that I got from Boohoo a while ago. You may remember this coat from my Cruzada inspired video on how to style graphic tees. I will put the link below. You will also need scissors, a marker, hot glue gun with extra glue, and Sherpa fabric. I bought this Sherpa fabric from Joann's and they usually have a coupon, so I think I got this half a yard for $2 or $3. The first step is going to be tracing out the collar, lapels, and wrist cuffs of your jacket onto the Sherpa. I previously marked off my fabric, so here I'm just showing you how I trace the collar, lapel, and wrist cuff pieces. Line the edge of the fabric with the coat and fold over the coat to mark where the soon-to-be trimmed pieces stop. When you are cutting the pieces out, you'll want to leave a 1-inch gap between where you marked your line and where you plan to cut out your pieces, so be conscious of how close you're tracing them. This step is necessary, so even though we're not sewing them down, the 1-inch margin is important. You will need 2 pieces for the lapel and wrist pieces. You can cut them out and retrace the pieces like I did with the wrist, or you can fold the fabric over, fur on the inside, and cut both pieces at the same time like I'm doing here with the lapels. After cutting, you should have 5 pieces. You should have 2 wrist cuffs, 1 collar portion, and 2 lapels with 1-inch margins. Next, I'm going to attach the Sherpa trim to my coat. I'm starting with the lapel, so first go through and match up your cut piece to the correct side of the coat, and when you're sure of proper placement, hot glue the fur into the inner piece of your coat at the margin where the inner lining starts. Then with a 1-inch margin, pick off any excess fur so they don't shed onto your clothes, and roll that over with a small edge overlapping the edge of your coat so you can see the fur when your coat is closed. Hot glue the rolled edges down and repeat these steps for both lapels, collar, and wrist cuffs. So I did the same for my collar, where I glued at the margin, placed the fur, rolled over any edges, and hot glued them down. There was a notch between the collar and the lapel, so for that I simply tucked in the fabric at the area where it was darted and hot glued it down. The result turned out really well. For the wrist pieces, I first folded over the cuff and glued the Sherpa onto the margin of the inner lining where the cuff starts. Then once the glue is dry, I turn the cuff inside out and I tuck the Sherpa into the cuff. I fluffed it out so that you can only see a small portion, and I took the glue gun and glued it all around the circumference, keeping my fingers spread wide so that the fur would stick. Be very careful with this. I do not want you to burn yourself. And then once everything was dry, we about to put this bad boy on. I think the jacket turned out great. I'm so excited to show you guys the finished product. All in all, this took me about 40 minutes to complete, and it turned out really professional looking. I feel like I could have bought this at Target and no one would ever guess that all the fur was hot glued on. I styled this coat once with a graphic tee and jeans, and today with my Black Panther inspired outfit with pearls. Tell me if you're going to try this DIY with one of your old jackets, or how should I style it next? I would love to see your Sherpa jacket too.